thank you to Sega for sponsoring this video. One of the most anticipated gacha games has finally come to global with the release of Persona 5 Phantom X. Released originally in April 2024 in China, Persona 5 Phantom X takes place in the world of Persona 5, but following a different band of phantom thieves. But don't be fooled. While those who are familiar with the original Persona 5 world and story will find many similarities to the original game, there is far more original content in this game that completely separates it apart from the original material. P5X is available to play for free now on Steam, Google Play, and the Apple App Store. No clunky third-party installers, just straight from trusted sources. One major talking point around this game I haven't seen enough people talking about is Persona 5 Phantom X is the first completely free-to-play Persona game in the franchise, while delivering the same in-depth story and gameplay that the fans of the series know and love. Not only that, this is the first Persona mobile experience that will capture new potential fans of the series. To the fans of the Persona stories and gameplay beats, they will feel right at home while playing through the game. To those that are just chasing the latest gacha, you may be in for a wake-up call. Persona 5X feels like a mainline Persona game first, and a gacha game second. We'll be discussing my overall review and my general conceptions of the game after a few hours of gameplay. This will be a spoiler-free review. The story introduces a new cast of phantom thieves, who are Persona users devoted to stealing corrupt hearts, usually of those of adults in positions of power, in order to reform society. The story follows a new protagonist, named Wonder, and a mysterious owl companion, codenamed Cattle, that can communicate with certain humans. All of the combat sequences take place in something called the metaverse, which is a sort of alternate reality where all combat takes place. Only those who have the Metaverse Navigator app can access the split dimension. The Navigator is a mysterious app that has been appearing on phones. The metaverse is formed from the collective unconsciousness, which are personalized cognitive spaces based around areas in real-life Tokyo. While usually not directly affecting the real world, the metaverse is known to have occasionally fused with it. The metaverse takes the form of palaces, with a central palace manifesting under the Shibuya station known as Mementos, where shadows of the general public are imprisoned. However, certain distorted desires, such as an overwhelming desire for control or depression, can result in personalized spaces known as palaces. All of these personalized locations correspond to certain areas of its owner's interest and are representations of the distorted desire that caused its creation, powered by something called a treasure, or an item of significance to its owner. Usually, the palace's owner is unaware that such place exists, and most events that the shadow encounters, there are no relevance to the real person. Most palaces have no direct effect on others and only affects its owner's mindset by making them entrenched in their distorted beliefs. Alright, so did you get all that? Well, good, me either. The Persona games, including this one, are much harder to explain than it is to simply play the game. From the few hours I've played of the game, it definitely feels and plays like a Persona game, down to the music we all know and love from P5 and even the combat. While this isn't a bad thing, gacha game enjoyers generally only play games for the gacha system and overall feel and combat of the game. Much of the early story is spent on dialogue and exposition, which fans of the series will absolutely love. However, if you go into this with the mindset of your general gacha game enjoyer, you know who I'm talking about. The person that runs from gacha to gacha, trying them out and inevitably dropping them after a week. You will find yourself struggling with numerous scenes with voice dialogue, which let's focus on for a second. 99% of the dialogue in this game is voiced in Japanese or Chinese. Unfortunately, there is no English dub at the time of recording, but the voice acting is absolutely incredible. The voice actors for this definitely didn't pull any punches. The overall sound design is phenomenal, from the catchy jams of the music down to the sounds of impact for each attack. So as I mentioned before, the UI is extremely reminiscent of the Persona series. All of the menus pop and just look absolutely incredible, although some of the areas definitely need some room for improvement. The numerous amounts of different pages make it feel incredibly frustrating to navigate at times, and the feel of certain pages can definitely get overwhelming when trying to search for one specific area you may be looking for. After the first few main missions, you will find yourself having to close out of a pop-up each time, offering you more and more of a deep discount on various spending packs the game has to offer. With that being said, the game does feel incredibly free to play for the first few hours, but I cannot speak on the feel of the game extremely long term, or the monetization down the line. As someone who did end up spending money on the game though, I can say that I feel like I did get my money's worth when it came to the pulls. Those who are familiar with the other mainline gacha games will feel right at home with the systems. About a 1% pull rate on SSRs, and a 50-50 system on the limited banner. This is nothing new if you've played any other gachas before. Which, the first banner, being the mainline character that everyone loves, Joker, is sure to capture a few dollars away from you in pursuit of him. Did I mention he's an absolute beast of a character you're definitely going to want to pull on? The game, however, does feature a pretty generous beginner's banner, which guarantees you one of 3 of the standard 5-star characters after 50 pulls. The choices of that being Ryuji, Morgana, and Anne. There is no confirmed or denied soft pity system, which exists in most other mainline gacha games, which has been a pretty huge discussion from the fan base on if one truly exists or not. I do fully believe, though, that if you approach the game from a completely free-to-play perspective, you will still find as much enjoyment out of this game as those who spend. There are over 200 free pulls available from the 1.0 of the game. From completing the main quest, side quests, various events such as the Velvet Trials, Koichi's Palace, Lufel's Business Plan, just even down to increasing your synergy ranks, getting weekly supplies, and the exchange shop. The combat in the game feels like you're playing a mainline Persona game. All of the beats, visuals, and attacks are almost a one-to-one recreation of Persona 5. The Personas are unique, the Phantom Thieves interact with each other uniquely, and overall it just feels good to play. I've definitely found myself multiple times forgetting what I'm supposed to be doing in combat, and just being entranced by the visuals. Alright, so let's wrap everything up with a nice bow. The story, while not as great as Persona 5, I feel like your average Persona fan will absolutely love the game. Those who are superfans of the series, however, may feel a bit let down while comparing the games to its predecessors. If you are going into this with no knowledge of the series, the slow burn of the story may turn you off from caring. Persona has always been about the story, which most people who chase the new popular gacha game will most likely not enjoy. The music, sound design, and just overall feel of the game are absolutely phenomenal. Those who are unfamiliar with the standard Persona UI will be caught off guard, but I feel will be quickly captivated by its bright and popping colors. While the game does have your standard gacha rates and systems, the game does hand out more than enough pulls through playing the story, doing side quests, and participating in events. You should have more than enough pulls to get the characters that you want in the game. Overall, I quite thoroughly enjoyed the game as a casual Persona fan. I definitely recommend those who are a fan of the series to give the game a try. After all, there is zero investment outside of the space on your hard drive. Make sure to use the link down in the description below to download Persona 5 The Phantom X today. Thank you once again to Sega for sponsoring this video.